Good afternoon, Facebook fam. It's good to see you again. I'm in a quiet, solitary place this afternoon, bringing you this episode of Coaching Coach, something I neglected for the last couple months for a couple reasons, and I want to, due to one friend's needling and nudging, I want to revisit. And with this, I want to go over two things today. Number one, why the concept of culture eats strategy for breakfast is a little bit of a misleading statement, and second, about transitioning from ownership / leadership, because I think that is a difficult / tedious and time-consuming opportunity. I'm going to put it that way. So first, culture eats strategy for breakfast. I think it's a super important statement, but the concept is misleading. So for those that don't know, I was part of a group that came in and found an existing gym, and basically it needed a little bit more, it needed a little bit more things in terms of management, in terms of presence, and the business model itself. This business model, hey Sarah, hi JD, hey Steve, the business model itself lends itself to a more community feel. And so this is something where it's a 5-year-old gym. It's the same age as the gym that I have uptown, but it's 4 times as big. Yet at the current situation, we found it having the same number of members, if not less members, than the gym uptown. So my initial job for basically, this is my 3rd week, my initial job is kind of simple. And this is where I go back to culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's a misnomer because you can't just implement culture. It's not something that just, lickety split, I'm going to bring the culture. That's not how it works. But rather it's one of those concepts where you sit down and get a feel, and even just watch, get a feel for the interactions between the clients and the members and the staff, and you're going to understand that almost similar to some more community-based gyms, similar to a CrossFit, but without the random programming, and potentially, I guess they could sometimes have personalized programming, separate topic. But going back to that culture eats strategy for breakfast, I think the biggest concept that is misleading is that you can just come in here and have a culture blueprint, and that's not the way that it works. So what I've come in here first with is a strategy to reinforce the culture, and that's first is that basically this is a place where you're you, and there's no judgment passed from the personal training side of things. This is a personal training gym. That's it. What we do uptown is the same thing here in Murray Hill, and we just have a little bit more space here in Murray Hill. So with that strategy is simple. The people and the basically, so the people that I would include in this conversation are the members, the clients, and then the staff. The people and it just need a metaphorical / physical hug. People want to feel included. They want to feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And so letting them know that with constant emails, constant social media interaction, listening to them, that's why I say this is a strategy decision first, and then the culture kind of circulates. So the strategy influences the culture, then the culture influences the strategy. Because then if this is as big of a community as we think and we know, then it's this circle. So it's never ending, but that's why it's not one versus the other. It's not a direct arrow where the culture derives to strategy. No, not like that. Anyways, so that's what I want to go over as far as the culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's a little bit more of a circle than a straight line. The second part is that the challenge of a transition. I liken this to any transition where you've had a great history teacher or a bad history teacher, and then you get a new history teacher, and that teacher or a substitute teacher has to step in and all of a sudden become the new leader. And they kind of there's some kids that are going to test the limits, and they're going to see, okay, who is this guy as the gym owner? What is he going to do? Is he just going to come in and raise prices? Well, if that's the case, then I'm out. So I think there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of moving parts. I think the first thing, though, is that you're always going to play to win. You're always going to try to be on offense, but within that same token, you can't lose. What I mean by that is that you have to make sure that all the staff, if you're inheriting a new business, or moving into a new business, buying a new business, you can't lose staff. You might because they might be loyal to the former management, etc. But you can't lose staff, because with staff brings familiarity. With familiarity for the members and clients, people are going to be kind of rest assured that, look, things are going to be good, and if not better. So what happens with that is, once you have the people and going back to the people conversation, people in this concept refers to the trainers and the members and clients. So with these new faces, right? So they're like, who is this guy coming from uptown? You know, they do personal training, they train celebrities, they train entrepreneurs. Nobody cares unless we show them that we care. So it's the problem with the transition, and this could be for management. Hey, Mike. Hi, John. This could be a transition from a bar, right? A new bar owner, or a restaurant, a new restaurant owner. It could be anything like that. The problem that you can see is that somebody comes in and just wants to make all the changes, and they come in guns blazing, wrong expression. They come in with all these ideas, and they really just want to change everything. And the problem with that is that the members and or the patrons of the establishment may not be ready for that change to go just like that. So kind of a slow play in taking the temperature of the culture. This is where I go back to that culture conversation. Taking the temperature of that culture, I think, is super important. So that presence from a manager standpoint, really, you just have to be listening. You have to be engaged. Hey, this is an open door. I'm going to do work while, in the presence of other gym members, just so that they know, listen, if you want to talk, I can talk about anything. And then the second part about, going back to pricing, because we have a little bit different pricing uptown versus down here, is showing value, right? So the nature of this beast is that it's $35 for any class within a 3-block or 5-block radius of this place. On the Upper East Side, it's $120 for a personal training session, just about any gym. So with that, you have this, like, where are we in the spectrum, right? So on the Upper East Side, we know that we offer people unlimited personal training for $810 a month, and that's nothing compared to if they were training 8 times at an Equinox. That's the price of basically rent in Nebraska, right? So for like a 2-bedroom house. So we have to understand where we are in the market, and that's where I go back to the $35 for a class within this neighborhood. What's going on, Dan? $35 for a class in New York City is about the average price. So when we talk about the bottom price for even personal training sessions, and we do a different model, it's called semi-private training, kind of combines basically the cost of one coach. You're sharing that cost, but you're training with up to 2 to 3 others on your own program. I continue. But with that, it's this concept of that's the bare minimum. We can't go any lower than $35 a class. So per training session, just because that's the market. Now, whether or not people have been getting that from the beginning, we have to also understand that this is a membership that they're getting, and the value with that membership is enclosed in the services that they're getting. And by the way, if there's no manager here, then they're not getting a service. They're not consistently being felt like we're troubleshooting. The second component that they're potentially missing is that consistent value. And going back to that culture and strategy, that consistent value of somebody has to be strategizing for them, right? This is what we're selling, is a better self. So what's that better self? Various stages throughout their year and various stages throughout their entrepreneur or executive career, you're going to be seeing many different problems come up. So how you troubleshoot them is super important. And I think being able to offer people that level of, culture is important. Sure, it's going to keep people here, but also the strategy within it. If your training systems suck, then your gym is going to have a tough time, even if it's the most fun place on earth. Even if you have Thirsty Thursdays every Thursday and you pack the house. So that's one of the biggest transition things going on in terms of this is the 3rd full week. So that's it. I wanted to kind of give that, because I've had to answer a couple questions, had a couple people reach out. What's the difference? What are you doing? How are you trying to change things? And the reality of it is like, look, if I was to do this wrong, I would say, let's do this my way. But what I've learned from our other people on our executive board and advisory board is that it's not about me, and instead it's about our people, our members and our clients. So it's about me asking a lot of questions, asking our current members at both locations, but also asking new people who are joining, like, what are they looking for? What are they looking to accomplish? Because I think if you could put yourself, the expression is, if you can see through John Smith's eyes, you'll understand what John Smith buys. Okay, and I've covered that before on Coaching Coach, and it's so simple, yet it just really helps you to put yourself in the shoes of the consumer. And so if you can reverse engineer that experience, I think you'll start to understand exactly what John Smith is looking for, and hopefully you can give it to him. So yeah, that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a note. I'm going to guarantee you that all of these notes and the questions that you're going to have, somebody else is going to have. So whether you're an entrepreneur in fitness or outside of it, I'd love to hear from you. Any feedback, any questions are always welcome. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks, guys.